Hi everyone, I'm Gautam aka The Seeker of Wisdom. I'm a manifestation coach, and in this video, we're going to be talking about manifesting two SPs at the same time, energy dynamics, and so much more. And before I do so, I'd like to remind you guys I am available for coaching, so I offer one-on-ones, courses, and masterclasses. I have a free Facebook group and a paid Facebook group, and last but not least, I also have a mailing list. If you guys need any information on any of those things that I've mentioned, feel free to email me or DM me via Instagram for more information, and I'll be happy to guide you guys on those. And without further ado, guys, let's get to it. Being drawn to two different people is not an uncommon situation in the manifestation community, especially when somebody is focusing on ASP or they just want to manifest love. Being drawn to multiple different individuals is not an uncommon situation, and it is not wrong to want that. In my opinion, everyone's desires are valid, and I completely get that. I will talk about my sort of thought process on that, and I have spoken about it before as well, and I will give it towards the end of the video. But I really want to tackle this in a different light than I have in the past before, and this has been coming up in some of my client conversations as well as some of my friends' conversations as well. Some of them have been dealing with multiple different SPs. So I want to talk about, okay, how does one go about this? Because recently I had a client conversation where she's manifesting an SP, right? It's a pretty straightforward situation. But she brought up the topic of manifesting multiple different SPs, and I asked her, why do you ask about this? Because, we have been focusing on your self-concept. We have been focusing on, manifesting him back. Like, why do you ask this? And she told me, well, I just want the ego boost. She was very upfront about it, which I really appreciate. And this is a very common sort of thing that people ask sometimes, like, okay, how do I manifest two SPs? Because people do like the love and attention from multiple different people, and I completely get that. We are, after all, social creatures, and we want to be admired, loved, and chosen by everyone around us, and especially in the area of love. And it does boost our ego when somebody pursues us in the name of love, and this person wanted that. So just for hypothetical reasons, right, like, I started thinking about, okay, how does one go about this? And I was reflecting on it, and a couple things sort of came to me in my mind, and I thought that was worth sharing, and that's why I'm making this video. One thing that I would say is that in any sort of relationship, there is always this push and pull dynamic. That is not a secret. Everybody is very aware of this sort of push and pull dynamic that is in the relationship, or any relationship, be it a friendship or a sort of a work relationship. Even any sort of interaction with a human being always has this push and pull dynamic. There's a sort of a dominant one, and there's somebody who's a little bit less aggressive, and the submissive one, so to speak, right? Even though it's not always the right word to use there, but essentially that's it, right? Like, there's one person who's a little bit more submissive, but there's one person who's also a little bit more dominant, and there's always this kind of dynamic between them. A lot of connections too, especially in romantic relationships, or especially in friendships even. And so how do you deal with it is really the question. So essentially what we are trying to do is to leverage this push and pull dynamic in order to attract as many SPs as we would like. And on the surface, this might seem like a manipulative tactic. This might seem like almost a dating coach advice. And, it seems like it's not a very law of assumption or law of attraction thing to do, right? Talking about energy dynamics and how to leverage a push and pull dynamic, essentially. But the fact of the matter is that this is very much in line with the law of assumption, because that's what we are trying to do with self-concept, essentially, is to pull away all the energy away from everybody else and to put it on us. So this is very much in line with that. And also, if it seems quote-unquote unethical to many of you out there, picture this instead. Think about it in terms of a work relationship, or in an office setting, essentially, right? Where you are not just dealing with one or two people, but you are dealing with an entire floor or multiple floors, where you're dealing with a whole bunch of people. This principle that I'm about to discuss right now will come in handy for those types of dynamics too. So I don't just want you guys to see it in terms of a specific person sort of lens. I also want you guys to think about it on a broader context, because everything that we discuss oftentimes in terms of law of assumption principles often applies to other sort of situations as well. And I want you guys to think about it in that regard, and it might make a little bit more sense to you if you don't really resonate with the whole attracting multiple different SPs. Again, everyone has different sort of values. Even in one of my previous videos where I spoke about being like manifesting somebody who's already married, there was a comment that spoke something along the lines of ruining a family. And I get it, like it's not everyone's cup of tea. Not every idea that's being put out there, it's not everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine. But one thing I'll definitely say is that to each its own, and we will never truly understand a person's situation until we are in it. So it's best not to judge and take what resonates and leave the rest, is what I'm trying to say. So anyways, coming back to this. So how do we leverage this push and pull dynamic? And the key to leveraging this is to put the focus on yourself. Even if you have two specific people in your life that you are being drawn to, the first thing I would definitely do is to put the emphasis on myself. Why I am the prize, why everybody loves me, why everybody cares for me, and things like that, right? Very standard self-concept sort of procedures, if you will. At this point, I think everyone in the community knows sort of how to put the emphasis on yourself. And I have spoken about it extensively, right? Like picking up new hobbies, doing things for yourself, treating yourself, and things like that. But on top of that, when it comes to attracting or keeping two SPs interested in our lives, one thing that I would definitely do is to go general. Go general in the sense that in your mind, you're already in a loving, committed relationship with the love of your life. And it is important that you make it a very general person. So meaning it's not any of the two SPs that are in your life right now. You essentially imagine a person who is perfect for you, right? And you can make this person look however you want them to look like. But essentially in terms of the qualities, this person is like perfect. And in terms of the way they make you feel like a king or a queen that you are. And I want you guys to dwell in that relationship in your mind on a daily basis. And I want you guys to dwell in that relationship in your mind on a daily basis. To the point where that relationship in your mind feels so real and it feels so amazing that nothing in the 3D really matters to you. That nobody in the 3D really captures your attention, because this person in your mind is so perfect and amazing for you, that they always say and do the right things for you, that nothing in the 3D really matches up to that awesomeness, so to speak. And when you approach it from this perspective, you tend to pull your energy back from all the SPs that are in your life currently, and you do it very unconsciously because you're so focused on the ideal loving relationship in your mind that you tend to pull your energy back even without you realizing, and that creates a void. So that causes them to push, aka pursue you, and essentially you are pulling back all of your energy away from these SPs. You're putting it on yourself, you're putting it on the ideal relationship that you would like to have, and that causes a void which causes them to push forward, to press forward essentially, thus giving you all the loving things that you would like to experience from these two people, or however many people there are in your lives that you see as a potential romantic partner. And that's about it, guys. Concept wise, this isn't rocket science, right? Like if you just focus on yourself, if you just focus on your ideal loving relationship, the SPs that you want to pursue you will come pursuing you, because you have pulled your energy away from these people and you have put the emphasis on yourself and the ideal reality that you want, causing a void, thus allowing them all to come in and fill that void essentially. The reason why people suffer is because they tend to do the exact opposite thing of what I had just mentioned right now. They would focus on either one of those SPs more, or worse yet, they would start comparing those two SPs. Because what tends to happen in these types of situations is that they would be pursuing one SP, and then the other SP would sort of come along some way in the middle, and they would start comparing the secondary SP, as I would call it, and the primary SP, and they would say like, okay, the secondary SP has qualities that the primary doesn't. Why can't the primary be more like the secondary? And also the secondary would make the person feel good essentially in some cases, but they will also start showing signs that the primary SP did in the beginning, and that kind of causes a push and pull dynamic, but in a unfavorable way, right? So they are kind of pushing away and they are kind of pulling away and you are kind of pushing forward, right, to an extent, and you kind of feel that need to text them, you kind of feel the need to do things to kind of keep them in your life, and that makes you feel even worse because you started your journey with one person and that sort of isn't panning out, and then right now the other person is also not panning out, and that sort of creates a sense of disappointment and frustration, and you just don't know where you're going wrong in a way. And that is sort of the situation that many people find themselves in, and all of that could be avoided if you just focus on yourself and the ideal relationship that you want. And as I mentioned earlier, the same concept sort of applies to a work dynamic as well, where if you're just focusing on your work, on you feeling like the prize there, on you feeling like the star employee there, guess what? They are all going to focus on you rather than comparing yourself with a colleague or trying to sort of cozy up to your boss or your manager for that promotion. You just focus on feeling it in your mind, and guess what? They will all sort of start to feel the pullback essentially, right? And that would again create a void, and they would all come rushing in. So the same sort of dynamic that you can apply to your relationship can also be used to get whatever that you want in your job as well. Again, this isn't a manipulation tactic. This is more of a way to essentially see how the mechanism of self-concept really aids you in getting you what you want, right? And it does so using the push and pull dynamic that is already present there, because there are energies there. Energy doesn't lie, and so you can use this to your advantage. And with that said, guys, we have come to this end of this video. If this video resonated with you, be sure to drop a like and a comment down below. Turn on the bell notification so that you guys will know when I upload a new video every single week. We are doing 2 giveaways right now. So the first giveaway is on Instagram, where when we reach 20,000 followers, I'm giving away 1 month of DM coaching for free. All you have to do is simply follow me on Instagram and tag other accounts in the comment section of any post for multiple entries. And the second giveaway is on my Threads page, where when we reach 1,000 followers, I'm giving away a 30-minute coaching call for free for 1 lucky winner. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and happy manifesting. Peace.